worst fears confirmed for these anguished mothers.
It's terrible. He's my only child.
Christine Leinenen and Mina Justice both learning their sons are among the dead.
He said he was going to die and he loved me. That's the last thing I heard.
Justice sharing these heartbreaking text messages revealing her son and others were held hostage inside this gay nightclub in Orlando.
We're being told possibly up to 15 remaining in the club that are barricaded in.
There was just bodies everywhere, and I was crawling. I just kept crawling.
The 3 hours of terror ending after SWAT officers breach a wall of the club and exchange gunfire with the suspect. This morning, authorities are releasing more names of those who did not make it out alive and revealing new details about the gunman, Omar Mateen. According to authorities, the 29-year-old arrived at the club armed with an AR-15 type assault rifle, a handgun, and an unknown number of rounds of ammunition, well organized and prepared. Then called 911 after the shooting began to pledge his allegiance to ISIS. His ex-wife says she is shocked but not surprised.
Honestly say that this was a sick person. This was a sick person that was really confused.
I think based on what I see, what I remember, I don't think he was radicalized.
Emotions are running kind of high right now. And the thing about it is that, America was not actually prepared for this. I'm pretty sure the state of Florida wasn't even prepared for this. But there's just a lot of things that's actually going on. And like I said, emotions are very raw. And really, the only thing that we're wanting to hear right now is like a prayer of comfort and all of those other type of things that, we would say that we would like to do when we suffer an unfortunate tragedy. But the angle that I actually wanted to work on this particular video is not going to be the typical one that, offers, sympathies and stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. My hearts and prayers go out to the family of the victims of those that lost their lives in this senseless act of, terrorism, if you want to call it that, because they said that this was nothing but an act of terrorism because of the perpetrators' connections to ISIS. But what we have to understand is that there's a bigger meaning that I'm actually wanting to explain and talk about for the most part. I actually was going to do another video for the most part, but when this particular issue came up here, I had to put everything to the side and really, think about what's going on and how I actually wanted to bring this across and how I wanted to approach this without really, sounding insensitive. When you try to talk about things like this and try to give an explanation, especially from a spiritual standpoint, folks are going to get offended. And for the most part, I'm prepared for that. I have a thick skin, so there's not really much that can be said that is really going to offend or cause me to keep my mouth closed when there is a bigger issue or a bigger picture that God is wanting this nation and the world, if you will, to see. And for the most part, it's like anytime an action like this happens, for the most part, the first thing that we want to do, is, of course, play the blame game and all of these other type of things about who did this, what should have been done, and all this other type of stuff. But what a lot of folks are not understanding is that things happen when we actually want to live our own way, when we want to do our own thing, when we want to concentrate on making the flesh happy. And the thing about it again is that we are not prepared, nor do we want to suffer the consequences of those particular things when we actually want to please the flesh more than we want to please God. And the thing about it again is that something has to happen. As I tell people all the time, whenever, you ask God to step out of the way, move, leave me alone, get out of my life, get out of my money, get out of anything that is concerning me, God is going to actually respect your request because, again, he loves you just that much. But what we have to understand is that when you ask God to back away from you and everything that's concerning you, you best believe that evil has to step in its place. You will never be left alone. You're going to either serve one or the other. You can't have it both ways. The Bible tells us all the time you can't serve two masters. You're going to have to love one and automatically hate the other. That's just the way it is. But we live in a culture now where, everything is instant, and the thing about it is that, whatever makes the flesh happy, that's where I want to go. And for the most part, keep those who want to talk about Jesus and those who want to talk about salvation, keep those away from me because I'm not trying to hear none of that right now. I just want to have fun for the most part. This is what we're dealing with here. What we got to understand is that we're living in a culture now, especially with the younger generations, that they're all about the party scene, and for the most part, you don't have to go far or really, I really believe that every city and every, area in the United States have clubs that are, there for people to come in there to unwind, if you will, to come in there to have a good time. They have like different people DJing and all of these other type of things. I mean, and for the most part, I'm not a crazy person. I don't go to clubs. That is not the type of lifestyle that I adopted, but I'm not ignorant to the things that goes on in those type of arenas. I mean, like I say, I was in the military. I mean, and like I say, and I still know a lot of things that go on in there. And for the most part, it's more than just the innocent DJing and dancing and all this other type of stuff. There's just some things that will blow your mind, no pun intended, that will really leave you speechless as to the activities that goes on in these particular places. And for the most part, people really don't understand, that, the consequences, and the parents that allow their children or whatever to go to these clubs, they don't know what they're actually allowing their children to get involved in. For the most part, anytime I look at a club, I'm like, there's nothing good that can actually come out of the act of clubbing. Because, again, you're not just going there just for the sake of just going there just to sit down, have a drink or whatever, and just mind your business. You're getting up and, trying to get into somebody's pants. You're trying to sweet talk somebody. You're trying to get intimate with somebody for the whole point of self-gratification. It's all about you. It's nothing about anybody else, and like I say, and this is what is coming. I mean, there's no simple, get-togethers anymore. I mean, when folks get together now, it has to be where it's all blown out. The atmosphere has to be filled with lights and all of these different things. And like I say, and people coming out there parading in their underwears and all of this other type of stuff. I mean, just doing ridiculous things that you would never think that young folks would actually be interested in. But for the most part, again, the cover is blown, the sheets are being unfolded, and for the most part, there are things that's being uncovered that is not being hidden anymore. And for the most part, anytime you actually want to see pretty much what goes on and what's on the minds of our young culture these days, and even some of the old ones who are still into that stuff, all you have to do is just go to your local club or actually, just research it. I mean, like I said, and when you research these things, I'm pretty sure you will actually see that on almost every day of the week or whatever the case may be, there's always something going on. There's always some sort of activity that's going on. I believe that when they said that this particular tragedy happened, they were having something that's called Latin Night. I think that's what they said it was. And for the most part, you can go there, and I don't know, they have drag queens and all these other type of things that's going on, things that is just that really make you, in a sense, just hang your head in shame and say, how in the world can people actually go there and actually look at that and call that entertainment? But like I say, people don't understand the partying culture these days is really killing our young folks and our older folks. Because number one, the only thing that it represents is self-gratification. It doesn't give glory to God in any type of way. And the thing about it is that it's all about me. Leave me alone. I'm wanting to do my own thing. But again, on any night of the week, and from this particular club, it's a very popular club. I mean, Pulse in Orlando, I mean, they have all types of activities going on, with different themed nights and all of this other type of stuff. But, like I say, not only that, you have people that take pictures at the club, they want to be seen. They want to actually make the night memorable. They want to actually have something where they can actually go back and actually relive whenever, time permits or whenever they feel the need to reminisce about different things. But like I said, it's amazing though, about, what actually goes down in these clubs, the drinks and all of these other type of activities, that will cause folks to act crazy and just really behave in ways that is just really unbecoming of them. But one thing about it is that when I was actually sitting there, and just kind of just going over and just kind of pondering on what to do or on the video or whatever, and what response I wanted to kind of give in response to this particular action, this particular event, unfortunately, the Lord was just, dealing with me. And he was saying that for the most part, it's amazing, at what people will actually do or how crowded clubs are, but yet still his house lies waste. And the funny thing about it is that, again, and I had to really think about that, because it's the truth. all you need to do is mention or put a flyer out there on the street that they're having such and such, whatever it is, at a club. Next thing you know, almost everybody that lives on that side of town and, you know, in other parts of the city or whatever is going to try to get in that club to see what's going on. And the thing about it is that all of that stuff, all that partying stuff, nothing good comes out of it, because you always have shootings, you have killings, people trying to prove their manhood, their womanhood, all these type of things. The evening never ends good. But yet still, when you ask God, you know, God sends the message that everybody needs to come to his house. And he wants to see his house packed just like it is in the clubs. You will not see anybody there. If anything, they will curse God. They will tell you to leave them alone. They don't believe in that and all of this other type of stuff. But it's amazing to see, though, how fast something can change, how fast life can change. You know, how fast it can happen. You know, you're having a good time one moment, but yet still now you're left with actually trying to figure out and piece together what happened now, because my heart is broken. You understand what I'm saying? My heart is torn because I don't understand something happened all in the span of 3 hours that have changed the lives of the people forever. Not only in Orlando, but just worldwide. We got to understand something here, folks, is that, you know, this particular tragedy is not something to be taken lightly. And a lot of people will look at this and say, okay, well, that's a gay club, you know, and the gays deserve it and stuff. I've actually heard the comments, and I've actually, you know, sat through and really read through and really skimmed through some of the comments with a fine-tooth comb. And I would like to say this, is that this is not just something that is only affecting gays. All right. I just want to put that out there, because you have a lot of people that still have this homophobic type of personality where they figure that, you know, God hate gays, so he's going to exterminate all of them. And the thing about it is that they may have been the aim and the mind and the thought process of the individual that was the perpetrator of this crime. But what we have to understand is God says all sin stinks in his nostril. And he said that the wages of sin is death. He never said that one was more worthy than the other. All sin. So it doesn't matter. Even though we know that this is a gay nightclub and pretty much most of the people there were gay, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you have to come clean with this. You probably had some straight people that was there too, you know, that was actually, you know, in the hype and all this and partying along and all this other type of stuff. But the issue is, you know, people don't understand is that when you choose to turn a life and live a life and do things and really ignore God, you got to understand tragedy must happen. We already know, because it's already been spoken about and it's already been prophesied in the book of Revelations anyway about these particular acts of tragedies and, you know, all of these type of things. But everybody is looking at this at the wrong standpoint. They're looking at the fact about someone doesn't like, you know, doesn't like gay folks and all this other type of stuff. It goes way deeper than that. It goes way deeper than that. And the thing about it again is that God says that be still and know that I am God. And the thing about it is that you do everything you can to ignore me, both gay or straight, it don't matter. But you will know that I am God, he is saying. And for anybody that choose to listen to this, I hope and pray that you all listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, because the issue is that there's a bigger message that really needs to be addressed here. And it goes way beyond, again, senseless shootings. We've been having shootings all over the place in these past couple of years, where school shootings and all this other type of stuff. But lately, the clubbing culture has gotten so extreme to the point where almost every young person, that's all that they want to do is get out there and party. It doesn't matter what the occasion is. It can be a birthday party. It can be a school graduation. It can be your, you know, wedding. I mean, your marriage. Any type of celebration. The first thing that this young generation wants to do these days is party. And they don't understand this clubbing is killing them. It's killing them. But yet still, when you want to talk about this and be open and honest and don't pull any, you know, strings with it and come out with the total truth that God says that the wages of sin is death, guess what? People get mad. I don't care if you get mad with me, folks. I really don't. Because the issue is God told me I have to say it, and I am going to say it. But see, this needs to go to be a lesson. And it's unfortunate that folks had to die in order for this lesson to get out there. But everybody is so caught up on the emotional side of it. Everybody's like, I can't believe this happened. Oh, my best friend. God said still, the people still don't understand the message that I'm sending to them. God says that when I am tired of something, I will send destruction. You will know that I've been through there. The whole world will know that I came to visit Orlando. And people don't understand that God said that his anger is nothing but a moment. But in that moment, look at how much damage can be done. This wasn't an earthquake or anything like that, something major. All this was is a simple act that was carried out by one person. And guess what? The lives have been changed forever, especially in that community in Orlando. But again, folks don't want to see that. They don't want to realize that. They want to be able to sit there and try to get into their feelings, if you will, and really try to come up with a solution based on how they feel. And of course, you know, we already know the individual, the perpetrator, you know, who is actually the person that caused all of this. You know, there are many different news reports that are saying, you know, what his activities were, you know, leading up to that 3-hour ordeal in the wee hours of Sunday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning, whatever, you know, however it planned out that way. And the funny thing about it again is that, you know, they were saying that he had, I guess, he was radicalized, and, you know, he was actually on assignment, I guess, for ISIS to take out gay folks and stuff like that, you know, and all of this type of stuff. And I'm going to say this. All of that may be true. I don't know. Because like I say, I don't know the individual. Neither do any of you. We can only go by what the news media tells us. And sometimes they leave out things just to sensationalize or to boost their ratings. But one thing I will say is this. Everything that happens, God knows about it. And the thing about it, some things God allowed to happen because the people will not obey. I'm going to tell you that. Some things God allows to happen because the people have gotten too disobedient. They've gotten too out, you know, they've gotten out of control. God can't talk to them. God can't even reach them anymore because of the concept of self-will. Many people may look at this, you know, and say, oh, there was an innocent, those people didn't deserve to die. It was an innocent night. Everybody was going out partying. You know, like I say, that's what the carnal, that's what the flesh wants to say. But one thing about it, God knows the true meaning of all of this type of stuff. And he can sit there and do, and he's a sovereign God, and he can allow whatever he wants to allow. That's just the plain, honest to God truth. We can't go back and undo this. We can't go back and, you know, and bring back the dead, unfortunately. You know, we can't do that. But the issue is now it's all about trying to find blame now. Trying to pin up our emotions and scream it out on somebody. Because we are upset. We are, you know, our culture has been, you know, attacked. And now we are not going to stand for it and all this other type of stuff. They're not even listening to God and trying to get a message that God is trying to send. Stop, get out of your ways and repent. Nobody is trying to hear any of that. They're not trying to hear any of that. But it's so funny, again, the blame game. That's what it's all about now, the blame game. And the funny thing about it, too, is that, you know, everybody's having a good time. And the thing about it is that once you, when the evil shows up, see, that's one thing about it, too, is that when you entertain the devil, when you play around with the devil is going to entertain you back, folks. And boy, when he entertains you back, boy, you better believe people are going to be running. Just like it was when Post sent out a tweet, as they say, or a comment on Facebook. I don't know. They were saying that, you know, once that shooting had started, they were telling everybody to get out of the club and keep running. And that's the funny thing about it, is that when evil comes, when God shows you and you have to really get your reward for your evil, what are you running for? I mean, this is something that you brought on because you don't want to obey. Everybody's trying to get out of there at the same time. People are running in the bathrooms. Everybody's trying to find some sort of way to hide, you know, behind seats and all of this other type of stuff so they won't, you know, be seen by the perpetrator. And like I said, you know, I can only imagine what they were going through. But the issue is, it didn't have to be that way. What in the world do you have out there? What business do you have out there that late at night when you should be at home? You out there partying. And this is going back to it. There is nothing out there that's open that late at night except bars and legs. But people don't care anymore. It's all about me having a good time. It's about me meeting my friend down there so we can actually turn it up, as they say. But guess what? Those who are dead today were probably thinking the same thing. And guess what? They're no longer with us today. They haven't survived to sit there and say, you know what, I think I need to turn my life around and give it to Christ. I need to turn my life around and really, do the right thing and start listening to God rather than man. They're not here. They're gone. So now there's an outcry now from the gay community for the most part that, everybody is focused on, for the most part, trying to heal and get over this tragedy. And the thing about it, God says that the people still are not listening to me. He said, and the thing about it is that there are going to be many more destructions and many more senseless acts like this that are going to have to come through. Because again, God says that my people are not listening to me. I have to show them that I mean business. When I say that you are in danger and you need to have your life, you need to be saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost. And you say to me, no way, I'm not, God says, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. So if that means I have to step back and allow evil to come through and claim you, that's what it is. And one thing about it is that you cannot blame God for that. You cannot blame God for that. The only people that we need to blame is ourselves. And that's the truth. All of this crying and stuff going on. And like I say, I don't have anything against those mourning their friends or whatever. They were friends with these people. I'm pretty sure, loved ones, lost loved ones and stuff like that. And all of these type of things. I mean, like I say, it's something that's going to probably take, I would say, a good little while to get over. And in time, they will get over. But you'll never really forget your friends. But the issue is, in time, the message that needs to be, that needs to be pushed is the fact that, there's something bigger here. Yes, we lost folks, unfortunately. But you know what? All this partying with the devil and giving my life and serving man and stuff, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because you best believe every time, you go out there to party, you're taking a risk in your own hands. You're taking a risk. Because if you don't have senseless shootings like this, you will always have somebody out there that's trying to prove their manhood or their womanhood. And next thing you know, they're willing to pull out a gun to prove it. I mean, like I say, this didn't have to happen. This shouldn't have happened. If people would just obey God, you wouldn't have to have bodies being pulled out of a nightclub. I mean, it's just, to me, it breaks my heart. My heart is heavy. Like I said, you don't have to know any of these individuals to feel the pain. Because I live, 2 hours away from there? And like I said, you can only imagine. But the issue is that America's response to this, God is not pleased with it. I can tell you that right now. He's not pleased. Because the people are they're not looking at it in a spiritual sense. They're looking at it from an emotional standpoint. And your emotions can be very misleading. And the main objective that God is trying to get the folks to see, that you need me, you cannot make it on your own. Give your life to me. That's all God is saying. Turn away from evil and begin to do good. But folks don't want to do that. A lot of people now are saying, pray for Orlando. And I guess, I'm going to have to park my brakes for a moment again and just kind of talk about this for just a moment. From a human standpoint. From an emotional standpoint, I can get where you're coming from. I can get with the message, pray for Orlando, just like, when 9/11 happened. Pray for, the folks who lost their loved ones in 9/11. Again, an act of terrorism. But the issue is that when you're actually, focusing on this particular issue, I may surprise people with what I'm about to say. I'm not going to pray for Orlando. I'm not going to do that. Orlando is a city. Orlando didn't do anything wrong. So why should I pray for something that does not even have the ability to do anything wrong? It's just a city. What we need to pray for is the people in Orlando and the people of this world, for that matter. Because they're the ones that's causing these evil things to happen that God has to allow to come through so he can get his message out. I am not going to pray for individuals to continue a horrendous lifestyle that is in opposition to what God has for them to do. And the thing about it again is that, again, I may have some people that may say, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Well, you better believe it. Because the thing about it is that why in the world am I going to sit there and pray for you and you already got in your heart that once this sorrow passes you, you're going to be back up there in another club doing the same thing, not even giving God the glory, not even thinking about God. Why would I do that? I'm done with that. I'm done being used. And the thing about it, God says he's done being used as well. The thing about we pray, Lord, please, get me out of this, get me out of that. And God turns around and does it. He doesn't deliver you for the sake of you going back and doing the same thing that you did once before. So when folks talking about pray for Orlando, I can't do that. I'll tell you what, I'll take it one step further. I won't do that. Because Orlando did not do anything wrong. It's the people in Orlando that did wrong. Sorrow comes, issues like these comes so we can consider our ways, people. We have to consider our ways. And sometimes, in order for us to go back and reflect on where we went wrong, tragedy has to come in and happen. It's only after tragedy happens that we begin to reflect and see where we went wrong. So we won't repeat that same behavior again. So we won't have to experience this same tragedy again. But like I say, it's going to be interesting to see within the next couple of weeks the direction that this is going to go through. Because now everybody is up in arms and wanting to be very sensitive to the gay community. I'm not going to do that. A gay person is just like me. They bleed, they cry, they have emotions just like me. I'm not in a protected class, so neither should they be. It is what it is, folks. If you don't like the message, simple, change your channel. Peace out, folks. Have a great day.